It's Friday, October 15th, and this is now on HNN.
An FDA advisory panel gives the go-ahead on the second dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I'm Skyler Henry at the FDA headquarters with what that means and the latest on mixing booster shots.
We don't know from these short-term studies what the longer-term effect of mix and match will be.
The U.S. will lift a travel ban next month, allowing vaccinated international visitors to enter the country.
Their message was that God is a woman, she's here on the planet in physical form.
Family members and investigators speak out for the first time on network television since the death of a cult leader with ties to Hawaii.
Now, there's several months of just planning what the theme is going to be because we pride ourselves on being a themed haunt.
Plus, it's haunted house season. We've got a preview of one that's about to open up.
You won't feel a thing.
That's coming up on This Is Now. Good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This is Now on this Friday. You got Mark Carpenter in here at the HNN Digital Center in for Ashley. Wanted to start with this news. We reached a milestone today. 70% of the state's population is now fully vaccinated. We get that news along with news numbers from the State Department of Health.
Yeah, Hawaii reported 5 new COVID-19 fatalities on Friday, pushing the statewide death toll to 862. We also have 156 new infections. And meanwhile, new today, an FDA committee has wrapped up a hearing looking into the need for booster shots for people who received the one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Skyler Henry reports.
Voted yes.
An independent FDA advisory committee voted to authorize a booster dose for people 18 and older with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine at least 2 months after the initial shot.
What we're seeing is that this is a group with overall lower efficacy than we have seen with the mRNA vaccine. So there is some urgency here.
The committee voted to approve the booster dose in spite of concerns about the trial data Johnson & Johnson presented, citing the reduced effectiveness of the vaccine over time.
There could be as many as close to 5 million people who are at risk of hospitalization based on the CDC study. Again, this is still a public health imperative.
FDA officials say the agency may consider taking action at some point to allow Johnson & Johnson recipients to receive a booster shot from either Moderna or Pfizer's vaccines instead of a second J&J shot.
In the real world, all these kind of combinations or extra boosters are already happening. So I think it's a matter of some urgency.
A new study found people with the J&J vaccine were better off getting a booster from either Pfizer or Moderna, but the study has not yet been peer-reviewed.
We don't know from these short-term studies what the longer-term effect of mix and match will be, and we just don't have those data.
The news comes as the Biden administration announced that fully vaccinated international travelers can cross the border into the U.S. beginning November 8th. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Silver Spring, Maryland.
The United States is opening up its borders. The White House says fully vaccinated foreign visitors can start traveling to the U.S. on November 8th. This relaxes current bans that have been in place since 2020. The new guidelines apply to America's air, land, and sea borders. A White House official says more details are coming soon about very limited exceptions and which COVID-19 vaccines will be accepted. It will likely be similar to what the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention already told airlines. They said vaccines accepted for air travel include those approved for the U.S. and those with emergency use listing from the World Health Organization. By the way, are you wondering how many people are even coming into the state these days? Here's the update we got from Howard Dykes this morning about those arrivals.
Almost halfway through the month, arrivals are down a third compared to October 2019. Domestic arrivals down 4% to Kona, down 5% to Lihue, down 14% to Maui, down 13% to Honolulu. And remember, that's domestic, not even counting the near total absence of vacationers from other countries.
Southwest Airlines is making amends with customers after a series of travel disruptions that began last weekend. The new emails to travelers struck an apologetic dramatic tone and included vouchers ranging from $100 to $250. The olive branch is on top of refunds or flight credits the carrier is required to give when they cancel flights and passengers don't or can't rebook.
OIA football games will be played today for the first time since the pandemic started. Spectators are not allowed just quite yet, as that is on track for next week. In terms of restrictions, everyone needs to be fully vaccinated and wearing masks. Fans will have to sit in groups, no larger than 10 indoors and 25 outdoors, and ticket sales will be online only. We talked with Superintendent Keith Hayashi about the logistics this morning on Sunrise.
And a lot of questions that we are getting is that why are we not allowed to have crowds, especially outside, even if they were, separated at some point? Because you had to have seen this day coming. Why wasn't the DOE ready for this?
Well, the leagues are working together and following county guidelines, and they're putting different the requirements and processes in place for spectators. And again, I think it's really important that we ensure that our processes and procedures are set so that our students are safe, right? And so currently, if you are vaccinated, you can attend the athletic events. And as we move forward, we may, and things get better and vaccination rates go up, and we see the over 5 to 11 vaccinations approved, then we're flexible and we're able to adjust as we move forward. But again, health and safety important. We want to ensure that our students are safe so that they can be sure to come to school and learn in person.
Of course, safety is important, but I got to ask you, you got to understand that parents are frustrated by the fact that they're not able to go to the games after a year and a half and asking why the DOE wasn't ready. Well,
it is the importance of athletics and extracurricular activities, especially in Hawaii, definitely is very important. But weighing that together with processes that we ensure that our students are safe is very important. I think it's okay for us to go slower to be sure that safety procedures are in place.
Only on Hawaii News Now, surveillance video of the police chase that led to a devastating crash in Makaha last month. The video appears to confirm witness accounts that officers left the scene. And not only that, watch as a car speeds by, followed by a dark SUV here. Once again in slow-mo, that's a police officer in the SUV, apparently without his blue lights on, as required by HPD during pursuits. After a few seconds, those vehicles are followed by 2 more cars. Those are police cruisers, also without their blue lights on. Our Rick Daysog has more video to show and new reaction. He filed this report.
The security camera video from the Makaha Surfside condos captures the white Honda containing several teenagers and a young man racing over a speed bump at about 3:45 a.m., followed closely by an unmarked black police SUV. 2 blue and white HPD cars follow several seconds later. Another camera angle shows all 4 vehicles speeding north on Farrington Highway. Moments later, the white Honda goes out of control and rolls, ejecting several passengers near Orange Street. 15-year-old Dayton Govea and Jonathan Perkins Sinapati were critically injured. Witnesses there told Hawaii News Now that they saw the chase and the crash and were shocked to see the officers leave the scene.
I'm even more disturbed about this whole situation than I was. We received reports from people who saw parts of the incident itself and parts of the chase, but the video seems to confirm the worst aspects of what we were told.
The security camera does show the 3 police vehicles 3 minutes after the crash driving back down Farrington Highway in the opposite direction of the crash. Witnesses say they returned to the scene after the ambulance arrived. Sure enough, the video shows the ambulance heading for the scene after the officers left. They later returned and asked what happened.
These guys are so arrogant and frankly so dangerous that they felt they could come back with impunity and show up at the scene.
The officers have been stripped of their police powers and have been assigned to desk duty. Criminal and administrative investigations are pending.
And I do not understand why at this point in time they haven't already been prosecuted for the damage that they caused.
Seitz says his client remains paralyzed from the waist down, but is regaining feeling in his legs. He's been transferred to the Rehab Hospital of the Pacific, but will soon need more concentrated care from mainland specialists. Rick Daysog, Hawaii News Now.
Shocking developments out of the UK as British Conservative lawmaker David Amis was stabbed to death at a meeting with constituents. This happened at a church in eastern England. Now, details on what led up to the attack are scarce, but a 25-year-old man is now in police custody, and authorities aren't looking for anyone else in connection with the incident.
The investigation is in its very early stages and is being led by officers from the Specialist Counter-Terrorism Command. We made it clear at the time of the incident that we did not believe there was any immediate further threat to anyone else in the area. It will be for investigators to determine whether or not this is a terrorist incident. But as always, they will keep an open mind. Today is a tragic day for the family and colleagues of Sir David, the community of Southend, and indeed for the whole of Greater Essex.
A rally is planned in Waimanalo today, marking 1 month of searching for 6-year-old Isabella Ariel Kalua. She was last seen on September 12th at her home on Puha Street. That's where the rally is planned for this afternoon between 4 and 6:30. Her adopted parents said she walked away in the middle of the night. Police ended their search weeks ago, but the case remains open and anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers. Tonight on Dateline, a case that has gained worldwide attention with ties to Hawaii. We're talking about an alleged religious cult that sparked outrage and protest on the north side of the Garden Isle when they were seen in a rental property last year. They have since left the island, but recently deputies found a mummified body covered with Christmas lights in Colorado with ties to this case. Let's turn it over to Keith Morrison with more.
Perhaps you saw the headlines about what deputies discovered when they came to this house in rural Colorado. That story made headlines all around the world. But tonight, you're going to hear the whole tale, which has never been told before. You'll hear from people who have not spoken before, people who can tell us the secrets behind the mystery of the woman who called herself Mother God. Mother God's message resonated very strongly with some people. Hundreds of them came to live with her over the years. Many more followed her online. Amanda Ray has made it her mission to understand it all.
3D world, in their eyes, is the cabal, it's the evil, it's, you can't trust anybody at all.
3D world is the same as what you probably call the world, day-to-day reality. Followers of Mother God think this world is evil, full of lies and conspiracies. But by following the teachings, they can leave this earth and reach a new, better one called 5D, the fifth dimension.
5D was really this planetary ascension where we're going to just ascend into a whole new dimension, a higher dimension where we are going to live as a planet at this higher frequency, and we're going to experience just love and peace. No hate, no crime.
Their only way to the 5D was through her.
Their message was that God is a woman. She's here on the planet in physical form, and her name is Amy Carlson.
Amy Carlson, the woman at the center of a mystery.
All right, true crime fans will not want to miss this special edition of Dateline tonight on KHNL. 8 o'clock our time. It's 2 hours long. Again, it does have some ties here to the islands. You will not want to miss this special report. I just saw a little more teaser clips and bizarre to say the least, really. You guys, let's take you outside right now. Gorgeous day. Look at the Capitol building with Punch Bowl behind it. Some clouds rolling in back there, but still looking beautiful. Will it be like that for your weekend? I know a guy who knows, and his name is Guy. Guy Hoggy. Here he is.
And as the day progresses, drier conditions for leeward sides are expected, although we could see some passing showers for leeward sides every now and then as well. The rainfall totals, however, will be insignificant. Not insignificant, the surf on the east side. Still big, still dangerous, still rough and messy. Got a small pulse rolling into the south north shore, but next week, the middle of next week, we could see a significant north shore swell. And right about that time, the wind should be favorable as well. So we got trade wind weather through the weekend, slightly slower trade winds tomorrow and Saturday, and we're going to see partly cloudy skies, and there will be some passing showers from time to time. Drier conditions, lighter winds starting on Monday. We could see some pop-up showers through the middle of the week. Keep it here on Hawaii News Now. We'll have all your severe weather updates.
More on weather. We just got an update on the wet season outlook for the state. Here's Kevin Kodama, National Weather Service senior hydrologist.
La Nina has returned, and they're expecting it to persist into spring of 2022. And based on a consensus of our climate models, it looks like the intensity of the La Nina event will be at the moderate level, and as far as what the consensus model outputs are projecting. And so we're breaking it down month by month. The wet season looks like, it's going to start off slow. So October, November, we're looking at the continuation of below average rainfall conditions, and then transitioning in December. But by the time we get around to January, the model forecasts are looking at large scale, wetter than normal conditions across the Hawaiian Islands area, and that will last into April or through April. So we're looking at the second half of the wet season to be fairly wet.
All right, let's see what the internet is all abuzz about today, and we're starting with this. Yeah, this topic I love. We're talking space today, and Beijing Space Agency says a 3-person crew will be heading to the country's space station for 6 months. This is going to be set for tomorrow at launch. The team includes China's first female to walk in space as well. Space is all the news this weekend. It's really the fun thing to talk about with everything that happened with William Shatner. We've been talking about it a lot here on This Is Now. I'm personally so excited about the new interest in the final frontier.
Yeah, no, and the innovations that we're seeing are really just extraordinary. Jeff Bezos' mission in bringing William Shatner, that initially stands out. And the thing that was so fascinating about William Shatner's journey is that it happened so quickly, because it feels like the first Bezos mission happened
just a couple months ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Weeks.
Captain Kirk is out there.
I did hear today, I read a headline that they're actually holding off or pausing briefly, momentarily, commercial flights for Virgin Galactic. So they're not putting them on pause, I should say. They're just delaying further down the road.
Okay,
so they will happen, but just a delay.
I'll have my ticket on standby then, if that's the case. I'll look out for an announcement.
Give me one too. It's just a small price tag there.
We got some Hollywood news to discuss right now. There's an upcoming Helen Keller film on the way, and taking the lead role is Millicent Simmons, who has starred in the Quiet Place franchise. Now, Simmons is deaf and a disability rights advocate. Rachel Brosnahan is on track to play Helen's teacher, Anne Sullivan.
Amazing actress. I just watched A Quiet Place 1 and 2 this week. Rewatched it, I should say, because I wanted a Halloween feel. And terrifying movie, and she's amazing in it.
Yes.
She really is a great actress.
Extremely talented. Really looking forward to what's in store with this project. Now, from the world of movies to music, calling all reggae fans, Bob Marley is the subject of a new musical that'll be featured on London's West End. Get Up, Stand Up, the Bob Marley musical, documents his life from growing up in Jamaica to becoming a global music superstar. The show officially opens next week, and I can assure you, if this show was here in Hawaii, you'd have multiple sellouts. That's going to be a lot of fun to see.
I'm sure it's going to do well on Broadway. You're seeing all these reinventions of old musicians or past musicians making Broadway musicals. There was just a Cher musical not too long ago. So now Bob Marley making it to Broadway.
And it seems like it really is the perfect platform to go through the entire catalog while telling the life story at the same time, kind of like a biopic.
So many of his songs are such good stories. You're right. That's a great point. Speaking of another amazing musician, Carlos Santana, coming out with some new music. Here, listen to what he had to say.
I am so grateful to God, the universe, Rob, Clive Davis, because I am the recipient of some divine intelligence that orchestrated all of these ingredients and components and nutrients that I get to just close my eyes, play the guitar.
So the legendary guitarist collaborates with an all-star group of performers for this new album called Blessings and Miracles, including Rob Thomas and American authors on the song Move. Can't wait to hear that. Really, really, really cool performer there. Okay, guys, it's haunted house season, and there is one opening up just down the road from here. Casey Lund got a preview. Here it is.
It is spooky season, my friends, and the folks at Koa Theater are elated that they're finally able to bring back their annual haunt this year after being shut down because of the pandemic last year. We talked to artistic director for Koa Theater, the man who's in charge of all this, 6,200 square feet of it, about how much work they put in.
The doctor will see you now.
You won't feel a thing.
For actors like these and Koa Theater's artistic director Kevin Keaveney, this is a labor of love. But the decorations, the costumes, the logistics, pulling it all together each year is no small task.
A whole ton of work. There's several months of just planning what the theme is going to be, because we pride ourselves on being a themed haunt. It's different every year, different scares, different characters, a different storyline. This year's theme is phobias, so we're really trying to focus in on those kind of psychological horrors.
It's the fourth haunt Koa Theater has put on. This all started as a collaboration between our local theater folks and Lost and Hawaii Five-0 actor Jorge Garcia.
That's how it all came about, really, was I had always had plans to open up a haunted house in conjunction with the theater, and got to know Jorge through friends, and found out he was a, like you say, Halloween enthusiast, and so it just seemed natural that we go in together on the first few.
It's also the largest fundraiser that helps keep the theater up and running, which has been a challenge through the pandemic.
The haunt every year provides nearly 100% of our operating revenue for Koa Theater, so it's really vital to us. It hurt very much not to have it last year, so we're really glad to have it this year.
Koa Theater's haunted house is conveniently located right here on Beretania, right across from HPD. Parking is over at the Frank Fauci Municipal Building, and it's free. The haunt runs all the way through Halloween. You can buy tickets online at hawaiinewsnow.com. Don't forget, though, to bring your mask. Reporting downtown, I'm Casey Lund. We'll send things back to you.
Thank you very much, Casey. Jonathan, we could talk some sports news right now.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We were discussing what was trending online, and today what is trending across the sports world is what happened last night in Game 5 between the Dodgers and Giants.
Oh, yeah.
So let's set the stage here, all right? This is the National League Division Series Game 5. Loser, their season is over. Giants and Dodgers, bitter rivals in the sport. The Dodgers going into the bottom of the ninth, they were up 1 run. The Giants had a runner on base and 2 outs here. And then the batter, Wilmer Flores, and let me keep in mind here, we can't show the video because of copyright restrictions. So I'm doing my best to describe it.
We got some good video to show, though, here in just a second.
The batter, Wilmer Flores, he's facing 2 strikes, 2 outs. He does a check swing, okay, which is, not a full swing, just a check. It's key if you're going to go across the plate. And, in those kinds of situations, there is an appeal to the umpire. They go to the first base umpire. The ump rules that he went, he strikes out, game is over, season is over, Dodgers move on. Here's the reaction that happened.
And that's what the internet is doing right now.
Just crazy. It's called the check swing around the world, and how appropriate that a rivalry has that kind of chapter to go with it. So the Dodgers are moving on. The defending champions are moving on. And Jonathan, you can look at the video. We implore our viewers to go online and check out the video for themselves. It really is incredible. It really is blatant. It didn't feel like Wilmer Flores went at all, but that's sports.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And how exciting to watch that. Were you watching?
I was watching, and it was astounding to have a game end like that. The Giants really had an incredible season, most wins in all of baseball, 107 wins. They were on a tear, and for it to come down to like that on the final play of the game,
amazing,
startling,
amazing. You guys, that's gonna do it for This Is Now. We'll be back on Monday. Mark's filling in all week. We'll see you then.